We'll start now, God willing, speaking about micro credentials and the so-called micro credentials and online accreditations. We will be now sharing the screen. At the UNESCO, they define micro credentials as a term that encompasses various forms of certifications, including nano degrees, micro masters, certificates, badges, and licenses. This definition actually was introduced in the year 2018. What are the micro degrees and how important it is in our lives? Of course, micro credentials are something that has a number of names and definitions. They have been around for a long period of time. However, in the past, they were only used or dedicated to low laborers or those doing menial jobs. However, in our day and age, this type of micro degrees have started spreading in a great manner because of the explosion in knowledge and the nature of the age and the fast pace in our lives and the fast changing landscape of knowledge and required skills and labor market. So as we pointed out, micro credentials are programs, whether professional programs or knowledge programs, that are offered either by the state organizations and entities or institutions or universities or online platforms or educational platforms. Of course, in this day and age, the concept of the change of the concept of education has become really student-centric, and this has changed greatly in terms of our perception of education and our perception of building curricula, as now all of them are student-centric. In the past, we used to educate thousands of people to work so that all of them would work in organizations and in factories, so that we needed people actually, back in the time, we needed people to have the same credentials and skills to work in these areas and in those organizations. However, in our current times, now we have different specializations, different majors, and our educational establishments are unable to meet the needs of the labor market, which are changing rapidly and in a very massive manner. One of the things that, for instance, if I asked you, a short time ago, actually, they put up an ad. They wanted an expert in social media. If we search for a major in universities in social media, we will not find any university that offers that. None of them offer such a specialization. They have specializations in media and majors in media and majors also in news and things of that sort. But having an expert graduating in social media, this has never happened. Moreover, we have other majors that have to do with the internet security, and because of the COVID-19 pandemic, we have had new specializations such as designing online courses, for instance, as we have witnessed that when we shifted from face-to-face education to online education, the shift was that we simply changed the platform that we're using. But in reality, we have not changed the content to be adapted to the online education. Moreover, micro-credentials are currently in very high demand because they represent a domain where we see many entities that do need to qualify their employees and enhance their skills or enable them to acquire new skills because of the development of the work environment. If we also look into post-high school education, it has also changed greatly over the past years. For instance, there are many companies that no longer require individuals to have a university degree to hire them. They require that they have the skills suitable for the job. Someone may have a PhD, but he does not have the necessary skills to work in a certain position, including major organizations and corporations based on the skills. They hire people such as Amazon, Google, and Apple. So all of this have really necessitated witnessing this development in what we call the micro-credentials. Moreover, because of the spread of wars and poverty and the different conflicts, this has also led to forced migration and forced displacement of many individuals who are moving to different locations. Of course, those large numbers of people have really moved to locations which are not qualified to welcome them. So now there is a major need in the areas and the locations where they were received, and we have seen how those displaced individuals do not have the skills that are required in the areas that they have flocked to, so they needed some sort of training, so they would acquire the skills that would enable them to earn a living. Even if it's not a high standard of living, at least they will be able to make ends meet. Moreover, we have the remote areas and the countries that have high density of population and limited resources. For instance, if we see, for instance, the Maasai tribes in Tanzania and Uganda, these are traveling tribes and nomadic tribes. They never settle in a specific area. However, there was a need to provide the children and provide the population and children in particular with some sort of education and enabling them to acquire skills to elevate them out of poverty and into a better standard of living. In addition to new approaches for accreditation of certifications, which are led by global educational platforms, we have heard of the MOOC, or the Massive Online Open Courses. This different concept was associated with new platforms, major ones, which offer these micro-credentials. Moreover, in collaboration with the major corporations and prominent universities, we will highlight after a while some examples of these education platforms and their coalitions and the type of certifications that they offer. Through these certificates that have been offered by these different online platforms, which are whether are global platforms or Arab platforms. For instance, we have Arab platforms such as Ibar and platforms, which are we also have edX and Coursera among the international platforms, and Khan Academy as well. So all of these online platforms have emerged to meet the need of many people who would like to obtain an education and acquire new skills that are commensurate with the labor market and the fast-paced pace of change in the labor market, and also the lifestyle, the modern lifestyle, because the skills that they have acquired, I always say to my students, the skills that we are teaching you today in the university, once you graduate in 2 or 3 years' time, most of those skills will be outdated ones. And you will need different skills because those old skills will have changed greatly. So you need to learn not just the knowledge itself or acquire the knowledge itself, but you need to become lifelong learners. So we need to change these types of learning along with the change with the approaches, which should change because of the progress in technology and massive knowledge and the new updates and developments in our lives. So we need to enable our students to learn how to become lifelong learners. These qualifications or micro-credentials require that we have sometimes certificate, because some organizations require these certificates. Maybe you do have the skill, but we need some sort of proof that you did actually obtain these credentials or these skills, you have acquired them. So we will talk in a while about the importance of badges and digital certificates and how to authenticate and accredit these digital certificates, so they would give room for the individuals who have obtained these certificates or qualifications to be able to gather them and obtain, at the end of the day, a higher degree. For instance, the micro-credentials have linked this to high labor and highly skilled labors. This has become a market that reached 117 billion online degrees and micro-credentials in the year 2025. This diagram actually shows the exponential growth of online degrees market and the degrees that are being given online and the micro-credentials, and how important these micro-credentials are. They have become really a massive market through which the landscape of education has changed. That is why many universities all over the globe are offering, in addition to the basic certificates that they offer, they also offer these micro-credentials or micro-degrees. We can see here how micro-credentials contributed in cases of disasters and pandemics, such as the COVID-19 pandemic. We see here the exponential growth in the courses offered online, and also the micro-credentials that people obtained during the COVID-19 pandemic, and expectations that in the post-COVID-19 world, this increase in this demand will continue, because many people have found, and many organizations, including education organizations and employers and individuals and entire communities, have realized that what we went through during the COVID-19 pandemic had proven that there are actually other approaches and ways of doing our work and conducting our lives. We don't have to go and do the 9 to 5 usual working hours. So there are things that can be done and can be achieved remotely. So the things that we can be achieved in this regard can be further enhanced if we have better skills. Moreover, this period enabled us, and we have seen many people actually resorting to learning new skills that they have never had before. This opened up new horizons for them and enabled them to obtain new opportunities to change their lifestyle and to change the things that they have been doing previously and have changed now to better approaches. Moreover, in disaster zones, we know that, for instance, when there is a war or when we have a forced displacement of the population because of wars, because of environmental disasters, or whatever reason, the suffering that people and immigrants face in this case when they shift from one location to another, it necessitates for them that most of them actually need to change their work and change the type of career they had. So many of relief organizations had the skill or had the task of re-educating those immigrants. For instance, when there is massive migration or displacement, new demand for new jobs such as nursing emerge. So many relief organizations qualified not nurses but assistant nurses, and also there is the need for medics and also the need for builders, people who can build houses and use the available resources in those areas to which migrants have flocked, and there is a need for plumbing services and education as well. Many of displaced individuals have become educators and teachers for their children and other people's children in the refugees camps that they have resorted to. So they shifted from other careers to education, and this requires some sort of requalification and education. So the micro degrees that are being offered by these organizations, whether through face-to-face learning or through the online learning platforms, have contributed greatly and significantly to bridging the gap and reducing the suffering of those refugees and migrants. There is a report that was published by the UNICEF. It is entitled Learning to Earning. So we educate people and individuals so they can, through this education, we can meet their financial needs. We know that education is the most important portal to break the vicious cycle of poverty. So in this report, the UNICEF referred to the importance of education and training and the importance of providing educational opportunities for the different skills for refugees, so their lives would change for the better. Because if someone becomes able to find a job and to earn a living, in this case, they will be able to change their lifestyle and move for the better, and they will find in the locations where they have become refugees, they may find better opportunities through the education that they receive. So another challenge for refugees and people residing in impoverished areas, one of them is the lack of financial resources and material resources and lack of proper training. I will show you a video, a quick video based on which actually shows an experience in Tanzania. You know, in Tanzania they have the Masai nomadic tribes. They build their shelters from mud, and then they leave those homes or move them to another location as they go after water resources in other areas. They are nomadic tribes and they graze their cattle. So the places where they live do not have power resources or electricity. The problem that international organizations faced with those tribes, they wanted to educate their children at least, or give them an opportunity to receive education. Unfortunately, they tried in many ways, and it was difficult to provide them with teachers who would be nomadic also and travel alongside them. So they provided them with iPads. They provided the children in those villages, in Maasai tribes, they provided them with iPads. The problem was that they did not have electricity. So they provided them with a generator that works or operates using solar energy. It recharges the iPads of those children through this generator. And as for the software, from time to time, people from members from the international organizations in the field of education would download onto those iPads the proper educational software, and then they update them from time to another. So this was a leading idea and an innovative one to provide education for the needy areas in innovative ways that are based on self-paced learning. At the beginning, the families were a bit apprehensive, but after a while, even the parents started to like this idea and wanted to participate and wanted their children to participate. Of course, this is an example of how we can resolve the issue of lack of different resources. Always innovative ideas and creative solutions can provide us with these highly efficient and applicable solutions. So some people wonder, why do we give them iPads? They are nomadic tribes and they do not have source of energy and they don't have electricity. So we had the innovative idea of providing them with a power generator that uses solar energy. It was a very innovative idea and a leading one. So this is another type of solution that we can offer to train people, regardless of the location where they live, regardless of the resources that they have or lack. If we think of the problem as a problem, we will never find a solution to it. But if we think of it as a challenge, we will always be able to provide solutions. The certificates that people obtain from micro-credentials, the question that keeps recurring, are they accredited certificates? can I add further certificates and be able to obtain a higher degree if I have the opportunity for that later on? So many of the certificates in the past used to be unaccredited unless they were issued by government entities or official entities. Now, after the COVID-19 pandemic, the number of coalitions among educational platforms and universities have really increased, in addition to the fact that the ministries of education in many countries, which initially opposed the online education concept and opposed the online studying approach, after the COVID-19 pandemic, they realized that online education can actually be one of the educational solutions through which we can offer highly useful educational solutions that would assist people at the different levels, and they would be highly accredited as well. That is why we see that many educational platforms and many educational entities have really started to change the way they deal with the different programs and the micro-credentials. Moreover, we have the issue of electronic certificates and the digital fingerprint. We also have the approaches through which we offer the micro-credentials. One of them is actually face-to-face learning, and I remember that in Jordan we had the Professional Development Institute, which from time to time offered educational certificates that would qualify people to work as workers in factories or car mechanics or airplane mechanics, and work in many domains and many professions. They would give them the necessary certificates to work on those domains. Moreover, we have had also the high-flex learning or hybrid learning, where we have the part of the curriculum is taught face-to-face, while the other part of the curriculum is being taught online. We also had the high-flex. In addition to this blended mode of learning, we had also the high-flex learning, where we see that some people can come to face-to-face, where other individuals find it difficult to come face-to-face and receive education for one reason or another. So we have also this other type of education, the high-flex education, as a solution to qualify individuals and give them the necessary skills to develop their lives. Moreover, we have spoken of certificates and badges, digital certificates, or they are called badges. In Arabic, they are called badges or sharat. So, with those badges, we have always had the issue of lack of confidence in those badges. Even employers do not really trust the badges or the electronic badges that have been issued online. And the badges, those badges are actually a set of standards, technical standards, in the sense that they are more like a certificate. Any individual who obtains them with the badge, you would have a number, or you would have what do we call it? Yes, you would have on the badge a code. Through this code, we can verify whether this certificate or badge is authentic and genuine or not. And you would have on this badge or on this type of certificate, once we scan this code, we would see what does it represent, how it was achieved, or how it was received. Was it received through training, or was it received through a sort of skills that were acquired through smaller degrees or micro degrees? And also we see the track record of how such badges were obtained. This also shows the issuer details. All of these are very important and critical to the field of accrediting certificates, so we would have credibility. and we would not see certificates that are being obtained without the individual actually having to go through the necessary educational process. As we said earlier, digital certificates or badges are actually, as we will see shortly, Google has badges, Microsoft introduced badges as well, Amazon introduced badges, in the sense that the more the individual obtains further courses, they would obtain badges in return for each course, and at the end of the day, once they finish a certain set of courses, they can actually obtain an accredited certificate in a specific domain. So, for instance, these are examples of Microsoft certificates and badges. Microsoft, for a long period of time, has been offering training, vocational training, and other type of advanced skills training for the teachers and for the individuals who would like to acquire different digital skills and other skills. However, the Microsoft certificates have been in high demand, and the courses offered by Microsoft have become in high demand during the COVID-19 pandemic, because people realized that there are many domains that they could learn easily and obtain accredited certificates by well-respected companies. And this is an example of Microsoft certificates. These are digital certificates from AWS certificates or Amazon certificates. So each country, once again, we're talking about accreditation here. Major corporations have their own accreditation schemes. However, for instance, if I as an individual introduced courses for certain skills, and I want to offer these courses to the local community or even to the global community at the international level, I have to communicate with the accreditation authorities in the country where I reside to be able to obtain the certification, the local certification for these courses, and then I can offer these courses globally. Some people do it the other way around, actually. They obtain the certification, the international certifications first, based on the accreditation as trainers or as training, international training entities which offer micro-credentials, and then they apply for accreditation locally in certain countries such as the UAE or any other countries, and this enables them to be able to receive the necessary certifications that they offer. As we said, the COVID-19 pandemic accelerated to a great extent the approval of legislations and the necessary legislations for the process of accrediting the certificates of micro-credentials. And for instance, in the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia, in Vision 2030, in the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia, there are certain laws and KPIs which focus greatly on micro-credentials and their impact on economic development and social development in the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia, and how this represents part of the accredited qualifications in the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia to develop the business environment. Moreover, Google offers training courses, different training courses. Some of them are free and some of them are paid, but most of them are free.
Also, Google gave certificates. Many people at the beginning, when they took these courses, and others, they took copies. So Google, they did a verification process on their website, and from where you got your certificate, you will find an icon. When you press on it, you can put the certificate number, and that said you is it yes or not, and the owner of the certificate. This is a verification process to make sure it's correct. Also, Google did a partnership with many websites that gave micro-credentials. If they are partners that are strong, that will strengthen the qualification that is given, and also that will give a diversity for these partnerships. As we can see, Google did the partnership with Maharat, also Emirates Youth, Injaz, ICDL. Also, we have seen an equivalent concept or term similar to a micro-credential, and it is related to the technical field and the technology, which is a boot camp. Boot camp, it is an alternative solution to enable the organization to bridge the gap of skills in a spontaneous and quick way. The most important characteristics is mainly focus in bridging the gap within the students who enter the universities or they are currently at the universities and they are trying to get different certificates. Of course, the skills that the bootcamp give, as we said, is technical fields. Also, bootcamp will happen in the American University in Sharjah, and it will target grade 10, 11, 12 in the field of programming and artificial intelligence to qualify them to go to the different fields of artificial intelligence. Of course, these bootcamps, there is a great market, and now it's very popular between the youth and the teenagers, as it gives them digital modern skills, also required skills. In addition, it gives it to them in a short time. If we look to the diagram in front of us, 538 universities, they have established bootcamp partnerships since 2010, and the bootcamps, it's growing very much because the knowledge evolution. When Facebook changed their name and also they talked about metaverse, the concept of metaverse is old, but now this concept, virtual reality, augmented reality, and these different uses in education, in industry, in communication, telecommunication. So the best methods to qualify the current generation and the teachers who are teaching this generation is to give them a boot camp, which is helpful in qualifying them to different sectors in the field of technology. The different international platforms that provide micro-credentials, as we can see, Coursera, Khan Academy, edX, Udemy, Udacity, so many platforms or most of them, they have partnership with international universities in USA, Europe, Australia. And also I know that Emirates University, they have a course there on Udemy or Coursera. If we see Coursera, it was classified as the best platform where it has 256 educational fields and more than 50 countries. They have international partnership with Harvard, Stanford, Chicago universities. And what's nice in Coursera, they have free courses and others is paid. And the paid ones, also there is a big demand. Many organizations and even individuals, they are not capable to pay for the fees, even it's very cheap. But the student here can apply to get financial support. So when he chooses the course, he can ask for support, and that will support the students. Also, other platforms in Arabic, we have Idrak. It has partnership with many universities and also entities. For example, they have partnership with British Council. So many teachers, they are giving courses to qualify any person who would like to learn English language through the different lessons by teachers who work in the British Council. Also MIT and edX, right? They have also partnership with the Dubai and Abu Dhabi government. Once they provided one of the courses, and one of the prizes they gave for the excellent student, they adopted his project, and Muhammad bin Rashid Foundation supported this project from A to Z, and they qualified how to teach this student and qualify him through marketing for his product and selling it to different organizations in Dubai. Also, we have Rewaq. Rewaq is also an educational platform. It was before Idrak and was established in Saudi Arabia. I gave it through Rewaq a course about the technology, education technology in curriculum in 2013, 2014. I had around more than 4,000 students from all over the world. What's nice in Rewaq, at the beginning, there was no partnerships with any entities. It was only certificate which is not accredited, but now they have partnership with many entities and also with companies by giving certificates. So they were giving certificates, but their certificate now is accredited. For example, this is one of the certificates for one of the students in the integration of technology in the curricula. And also we have one of the platform, which is edX, a micro-credential, which is a partnership with different universities. For example, Harvard, MIT University, they invested edX at the start around $60 million. So we have certificate to advance the career. This was the motto about them. We have Sadim, which gives certificates and training courses according to their needs. Some people, they want to learn the digital transformation, how to manage social media platforms, photographing, etc. Also, we have a manual issued by one of the entities in Saudi Arabia. And this is a great manual, really. It helps the youth. This manual I will open it for you.
لو شاركنا هذا
I will share that. Can you see it? Okay. So this is a manual for the certificates, different certificates. We can see here a list of these certificates, and this manual is interactive. If I want this certificate, if I press on it, it will download and give me explanation about the requirements, the time, the assessment, and also the duration. And if I want to apply it straight away, here is an icon. So it will open the website for this certificate. If we press home, we will see many vocational certificates in business management, marketing, digital field, accounting, accountancy. So this is a very unique manual that can help people to choose the correct choice to develop their skills in the different fields according to their needs. If you want to see a copy, I can give you one. What's next? There are different challenges that face anyone who would like to get a certificate. First, time management. I faced this in my life when I started to take these certificates or different workshops. I struggled. It's not very important, the concept of time, and months passed without any progress. Also the cost. Some people, they haven't got the financial resources. Some courses, they are expensive because there are big demands, or even the tools used is expensive. The quality of the course, this is a big challenge. How to know the quality of the course that I will join, the quality of the scientific material, the quality of the trainer who will deliver this course. Also, is there a chance if I don't like it, or the quality is very low? So can I get back the money or get a refund? or take another course. Time. Some people, they don't find enough time. Again, time management. They can't organize their time appropriately. The language barrier, most of these, especially the international platforms, Udemy, Coursera, Khan Academy, edX, it's in foreign languages. Now we start to see Arabic language, but still there is a big barrier, the language. And I know many people, they are excellent, they like to continue and to get accreditation, but the language barrier really is a great barrier and they can't overcome it. Many of these platforms, they start to put courses in different languages. For example, Coursera now, they have Chinese, French, German, Spanish, many languages. The technology also, this is a big challenge. For example, I will give you one. Some remote areas, they have no network to cover these areas. For example, when there is electricity cut, also the prices of the technological equipment for the rural people, it's very expensive. In India, there was a great experience where they did iPad. They made iPad with a considerable cost, around $50 US, only the main features. So these are some solutions to overcome the challenge. Also, I would like to finish. One of the courses that I registered at, which is Coursera, that was a long time ago, in 2012. They haven't asked only for a photo for my ID, but also using the keyboard in order to check how I write and the speed of my typing. So if anybody else answered the question in the exam through the typing speed, and I checked that, I let one of my relatives to print, and they said to me, "You are two different persons." So these are one of the characteristics, and here that was evident. We will stop here. I would like to thank you very much. If there's any questions or inquiry, I'm ready.
اوكي في عندنا شوية أسئلة هون.
There are some questions here.
خليني أحاول أجاوب عليهم.
I will try to answer them.
أول سؤال
The first question, we will need a presentation to benefit from it. I will send it to Ms. Moza to send it to you. What's the difference between the micro-credentials and the training vocational courses? Micro-credentials is a part of the training, and we got accustomed that the normal training is the low labors, like carpentry and the other. But now the micro credentials is developed, and it covers all the skills and all the knowledge available. Why most of these micro credentials focus on the practical skills? Because by nature, it's a qualification for the market, job market. For that, it focused on the practical skills because here is target the job market. Is there any chance to adopt this model in the schools, or it's only for graduates? Micro credentials is not for a graduate. Any person who would like to gain skills, different skills, for example, Coursera and Idrak, Ruwa, they have no time limitation as long as you have the capability and the desire and you want to study and to take this course, you can go ahead and study it. In the past, there was prerequisite site like the high secondary school, but now not anymore. Micro credentials focus on you have previous knowledge to continue or even study this qualification. For example, if I want to study artificial intelligence, you should have a background about mathematics, physics, and then you go to study artificial intelligence because you will study different mathematical models and different syntheses. So you need to have knowledge about physics. And basically, it's not the age as the main factor, but your previous knowledge that will enable you to study or not study these fields. Is it possible for this model to have crowdness in the job market? We already have crowdness in some specializations which are not required. This model will help to give solutions, quick solutions at the same time. Instead of I bring an unqualified person and me qualifying him, so maybe I have no organization or the methodology to do that. I will forward him to accredited organization, so the organization will qualify him and make him ready. So there will not be crowdness. Because here the main, I see what is the job market needs, what's my interest, and I work on that. These courses, is it free? Not all of it free, some of them. You can study the course for free, but you will not get a certificate. If you need a certificate, you need to pay. So that gives a chance, even for the people, the poor people, they can study. And there are other or many organizations, they don't ask for a certificate, they will test your skill. And when you see you are okay, they will work. The applicable education, can we benefit from electronic learning? Yes, currently. Talking about metaverse, virtual reality, augmented reality, even when you work online or digitally, you can learn these skills. But you know, you need some skills, computer and screen, and more tools. Is it easy to get these micro credentials that will know the credibility and the approval? No, Ms. Musa. The reason here, for example, studying in schools, preparatory, primary, and the different levels, all people get certificates. for this level. Does that lower the credibility? No. What lower the credibility is to get that certificate without quality. For example, we have no quality assurance or indicators. It's easy to get the certificate. Here with the ease is available, but the person has the qualification to pass the certificate. This is the question. It's available for everyone, like these courses in edX. But the question is, everybody can do the exam on the project and succeed in that. This is the question. Do we think the electronic certificate is the same as traditional certificate? Mahra, I want to say to you, even the traditional certificate now is digitally made. And also there is a big now international trend after COVID, and COVID proved for the community that the gained skills face-to-face, you can gain it online.